Happy Venus Day, everybody. Welcome to your love energy reading for Friday, November 25th. First and foremost, a huge note of gratitude to the many people that responded to my message on Wednesday. I was not expecting that many people. I spent the bigger part of today really reading through a lot. I haven't responded to too many at this point. But really thank you all for taking the time and the energy to in a way to kind of to help me. I really appreciate every single person. My heart was so full, and also I was gaining a lot of clarity in terms of how to move forward as we approach this new year. So again, thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get into the love reading. Now, as always, this reading is going to be separated into two segments. The first segment is going to be for those of you who are married or in established relationships. And the second segment is for those of you who are totally single, or if you're dealing with a hot and cold situation, okay? So you'll be able to access those timestamps in the description box and the comment thread down below. And for those of you who are members on the website, please be sure to check your email or to log in because I will be sending out the notification as soon as the extendeds for each zodiac sign are published. Okay? All right. Thank you all so much. I love you. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you in just a sec. Alrighty, so this segment is for those of you who are married or in established relationships. So here we have our 3 piles for the week. We are using agate today. We're using a magenta agate for pile 1, teal for pile 2, and a violet for pile number 3. Now, some people like to pause the video here and sort of feel their way through to intuitively be called to a pile. Not everyone navigates that way, and that's perfectly fine. I always say you can just randomly select a pile and there will likely be something useful in there for you somewhere. So same as before, timestamps down below, and I'll see you in just a sec. All right, pile number 1, you selected the magenta agate. So as always, the top card is going to represent your energy and the bottom card is going to represent your partner. So seems like your partner is experiencing some resistance or an unwillingness to hear or absorb certain information. They seem really steadfast in trying to keep something intact, even though they may know that this isn't really where the solution to their issue is really found. Like, let's say it's a financial goal that they have and they want to just keep repeating the same thing over and over. And you're like, well, if we want to, grow in a new way, we're going to have to do new things. And they're like, no, I know what I'm doing. They could really put their foot down with something. The trick here with this energy is to not pry and to not try to rush in and fix the way I think often a Queen of Cups can, as that more motherly, maternal quality comes out, or that more of a kind of like a guardian energy, right? Of course, a guardian would want to come in and fix an issue. But there's also, if that's the case, there's going to be pushback, and that could be problematic. So I think here the goal is for the Queen of Cups to just be an emotional container as the other person goes through this process. So hey, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk, if you ever need advice, if you ever need anything, I'm here. And that's it, like period, end of story, And it may be hard because it's possible your partner may be making some blatant mistakes, or they may be giving their power away to someone else, or giving their power away to some kind of projection that's not even real. And of course, for someone like you, as well, I mean, it may be flip-flopped as well, but for someone like the Queen of Cups, that, there's a little bit more empowerment than that. So watching someone, it can be hard, especially if you really love them and you're on their side and you want them to succeed. But this is short-lived, by the way. This is a weekly reading, so this is not something that you're going to likely be contending with for a really long period of time. It's just, they just need to figure it out. That's all. They've just hit some kind of a wall, and eventually they will wake up to what the problem is. They will fix it, and all will be well. Right now, emotional support is the one thing that you can offer that they probably won't really push away. So what else for you? Eight of Cups and King of Wands. Hold on, I saw the King of Wands. Oh, well, I got two. I saw the King of Wands and then I accidentally pulled that out, so that's fine. We'll just keep that. The communication aspect is really coming forward from you, so that's great. I don't see a lot of judgment here, which is good. I think that's, that's going to make everything easier. If your partner over here is not feeling judged or criticized or feeling nagged, they'll have more, wiggle room for them to figure something out. Now, the King of Wands, the Queen of Cups, it seems like with them being facing that direction over there, it seems like they are busy. They're busy doing their own things, busy for the holiday weekend or busy for work or something like that. It's just, I'm here, but I'm not going to be hovering. I'm not going to be breathing down your neck, but I'm here and I'm going to be busy and I'm going to be living my life and I'll be doing my things and we can talk about it and whatever the case is. But, I'm not going to slow down my life for this if you don't want me to. And I do sense that they're kind of pushing away with that Four of Coins. They're just sort of, rejecting assistance because maybe they do have something to prove to themselves or they want to do it themselves, and that's fine. And maybe that is better for them, because then at least maybe the information will really absorb and they'll really learn it so they'll never have to repeat it ever again. And with the Eight of Cups, I feel like you are in this process of doing something out of the box and out of your comfort zone here. Maybe there is a little bit of a change in behavior in the way that you are acting towards your partner right now. Maybe the norm is for you to rush in, and this time you're not. So the dynamics between the two of you are changing slightly, but it's actually leading to an improvement of the connection. Maybe this means there's deepened trust. If you're not hovering, or again, it could be flip-flopped, but if this person over here is not hovering and breathing down someone's neck, it must mean that you trust them. And it's possible they'll live up to that. They're like, oh, my partner really does trust me. They believe I'm going to do a good job. They believe I'm going to figure it out. And because they see that you believe, it makes it easier for them to believe in themselves as well. With the Emperor, a lot of these court cards coming out. I mean, you're both quite powerful here. Now with this Emperor card, I'm almost sensing that this is someone outside of the relationship that your partner may be dealing with, like a boss or a client or something. Or it could be kind of their own expectations of themselves. And they're seeing themselves only as a King of Cups, right? So there's some kind of like set of expectation for them to be the absolute best here with that Emperor, whether it's through a boss or through their father or everything that they were taught or just through culture itself, whatever the case is. This is like the standard that is being set. And this is where your partner perceives themselves to be. And they seem to be quite stuck in terms of how do I get from here to here. They perceive a gap and they're afraid to take a leap from here to here because they don't really quite know exactly what to do in order to make that transition. But again, please remember that this is temporary. This is not like a long-term reading. So your partner will find the solution because they have that determination with that King of Cups. Okay, they have actually both of these are ruled by Mars. This is an Aries card. This is a Scorpio card. So there's a lot of Martian energy coming through over there, which means the ambition, the determination, that, sort of conqueror spirit is very much at play. The determination to make something happen is super real. So they feel the fire under their butt themselves. Like, just because they're experiencing resistance doesn't mean they're not trying, and it doesn't mean that they're not putting in mental or physical effort into something. Even if you're not seeing them doing anything, chances are they are really thinking about stuff. Please make sure that you don't get upset if it's bothering you that you don't see them actually doing stuff. That mental and emotional alignment is a huge part of manifestation. So we can't really judge other people for doing that as well, right? We have to let them have that space to do that alignment work that's necessary. And I think one thing that's also needing to get stirred up is courage. They're needing courage for something. But again, I don't like the cheerleader aspect of stuff coming from you. I don't think they will respond well to that. I just think an open door policy, hey, come to me with anything you need to talk about, I'm here, and giving them space if they need it, that would be the best solution. And I think in the weeks to come, they may start to really surprise you. They're going to start to get things organized. They're going to start to have certain conversations with people. They're going to start to get things organized and situated in a way where you will start to see some incredible movement, which will be really, really great. I'm trying to decide what to put in the middle here. I think I'm going to use just another tarot deck instead. Let's see what comes through here for pile 1. The connecting energy for the two of you here. Queen of Wands in the reversal. Again, that does signify a lack of action going on between the two of you. This is a moment to just let things be and let things organically pan out. And that's all. I don't know. The words that will be exchanged will likely be high quality, meaning conversations will not be so superficial. They'll be productive. They'll be effective. I think it's really, really nice that your partner knows that you're available for that, which, of course, in a relationship, of course, you're available for that. Sometimes they just need to know it. And the lack of judgment that's coming from this side is also really encouraging too. The lack of pressure, lack of judgment, lack of criticism, all of that is playing a big role in this person's ability to make this jump. So this is like a chance to let someone prove themselves to themselves. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, pile number 1. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 2, you selected the teal. So the top card here is going to be the card that signifies you, and this is going to signify your partner. Okay, well, it does seem like a really peaceful connection right now, although sometimes this can be a little bit standoffish or a little bit isolated. Your partner may be needing a little bit more alone time than normal for them to process something, whether it's processing a new idea or a new strategy or a new option, whatever the case may be. And I think right here, you feel really comfortable in offering them that space. You feel really okay. It's Sagittarius season. Everyone is going to need a little bit more space than normal. In Scorpio season, there is a lot of that desire for closeness and deep intimacy, although I think this past Scorpio season was a little bit tough with that. But now the Sagittarius season has arrived and is well underway. We have this willingness for everyone to be free because we need our own freedom as well. And with the 9 of Cups, there's an element of stability and happiness and just feeling really good. And I'm hoping that's how you do feel, that you do feel grateful, you feel fulfilled. Many of you who are spending the weekend with family, hopefully it's going well for you and you're finding joy in that experience, even though maybe it could still have its ups and downs, but hopefully you're still finding some degree of joy there. I always kind of sense a more jolly feeling with that 9 of Cups. Very unbothered, not really worried about a lot. There's a carefreeness here that comes through. And even if an issue presents itself, it's like, you know what, we'll deal with it. We'll work through it together. No big deal. And the Hermit is just kind of, he's just kind of doing his thing over there. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like there just seems to be a lot of faith that everything is going to be okay. For you, maybe things are going well, actually, with that Ace of Coins. Maybe you get some really cool gift or option that appears in your life. Oh, see, they're doing really good too. But although a little bit more closed off than you definitely seem a lot more open. But the earth sign compatibility here is also really positive in terms of being on the same page, in terms of supporting one another in the right kind of way, and feeling like you're building something substantial together. The only concern I have is this Nine of Wands here. It's almost as though it's like, they're going through this because you can probably read them pretty well. They're going through that hermit energy. Maybe they're a little bit more introverted than you to some degree, or they're going through a more introverted period of time. And they do seem just a smidgen more inaccessible than normal. They have their guard up a little. They are maybe not revealing a lot. I don't want that to frustrate you. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't sense that it is, but hopefully it doesn't. Because the reason why is because they're still trying to figure something out. It's like, let's say they had an opportunity come up at work. Maybe there's an opportunity for them to travel, but they haven't really decided whether or not they're going to take it because, I don't know. It's like, well, they have a lot to consider. There's a lot of logistics. Maybe they don't want to leave you. You're a big factor in that. And so, yes, they may feel withdrawn, and yes, I'm sure you can pick up on that. But the reason is because they haven't landed on something. And I wouldn't pry, with that Nine of Wands, trying to wedge yourself in or trying to get the information, because it's not going to be very satisfactory because it's incomplete. So if you finally say, well, what are you going to do about this? Or so what's the final decision? The only thing they can say is, well, I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't have the plan yet. And then it's going to create more of a problem. So the goal here is just to enjoy the companionship and to enjoy the love and the compatibility that the two of you clearly are sharing right now. And that's really the only thing that's important. And with the Ace of Coins, there seems to be good things coming in for you. There seems to be maybe a financial opportunity, or maybe a new person has entered into your life. Maybe you've met like a new friend or something, or maybe there's a new career option on the table all of a sudden. And I don't know, I think you're just feeling really good and you are attracting good things. I would hate to see you sabotage that just simply because you want access to something that is not fully formulated. It's like premature. So just let this ripen. Let this come into some degree of maturity on its own. And chances are you'll feel, a lot better when it's time to have that discussion, or when it's time for your partner to reveal something. Now, I don't think they're keeping secrets in like a bad way. Okay, they're just processing. That's it. That's all they're doing. They're thinking about things in a really high level perspective. Since Mercury is still in Sagittarius this week, they're just trying to wrap their head around stuff. Okay? So what's bridging the gap between you here? Oh, I accidentally pulled two. Okay. Well, we have the Star, which is an indication of hope and direction. And with the Seven of Swords reversed, I think, because you are in such good spirits, or you're in such a good place, stability-wise anyway, I think there is a determination on your part to not disrupt this for yourself, So it's like, I don't even think that's probably even entered into your mind, like try to get in here. It's like, no, like when they're ready, they'll tell me, and it's fine. It's fine. And the Star is about hope and the future. And maybe that's what you guys are really talking about here with the Pentacles. Maybe you are genuinely talking about where you want your life to go. and where you see yourself growing old together. And some of you who are just dating, you know, maybe you are talking about marriage or moving together or changing location, or, you know, and there's a lot involved in that, because if you have to change location, or if you're going to buy a new home, you have to think about shared finances. You have to think about all sorts of stuff, jobs and all of it. So you may be in a strategizing phase, may not execute fully, maybe not until Capricorn season, with that cardinal quality coming online where you get to initiate some stuff. But right now, I think things are pretty good. Okay? All right. Thank you all so much. I love you. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 3, you selected the violet agate, the violet magenta. Okay, so the top card is going to represent you. The bottom card is going to represent your other person. Queen of Wands, Knight of Swords. Okay, well, that's some really strong energy coming out between the two of you. The good news is you're both looking at each other, and you both are probably communicating, although it may be a bit heated, especially coming from the Knight of Swords. Although she can certainly pack a punch as well. As Mercury makes its way into that opposition with Mars, it would make sense that things may get a little punchy. For some reason, there's a lot of agitation going on over here, and someone may be feeling uncomfortable. And I'm almost kind of feeling this Knight of Swords energy as like a protection mechanism that they're using to avoid some vulnerability that they're contending with. So if you do have words with your person, or if there's just added tension, maybe you're not even having words, but maybe there's just added tension, chances are it's more likely coming from the person. Well, I always say this is you and this is them, but sometimes it can flip-flop. So whoever is the Knight of Swords in this scenario, who's a little bit more hyper, I guess, there's something deeper going on. So it's just a matter of time before that deeper thing reveals itself. And it's like they may be making it about one thing when it's actually about another thing. And so getting to the real root of the issue is probably going to be important. And the best way is to really talk through it. You know, sometimes when people talk through things, they kind of go through this really like strong place, and then it kind of settles into some kind of feeling of like disappointment, like they're disappointed about something, and then that can also bring on a little bit of anxiety because of something else. And so there's like these layers that have to be peeled back in order to uncover like what's really going on here, what's behind all of this hyperness or this agitation. Because I don't feel that this is excitement. I may change my mind, I may contradict myself as I pull out the other two cards, but I don't think this is excitement. This seems like agitation to me. Okay. All right. So just coming through here. Page of Coins. A lot of See, you seem to be really open to communicating. It's like, just talk to me. I'm here. I'm willing to help. I'm willing to assist. I'm willing to be there, whatever it takes. No problems, no questions asked. Okay, they're clearly facing some kind of a choice or a decision with that Two of Coins, and they're not really able to make it. They're really struggling with it. And I love the Wheel of Fortune is a great card. But it seems like they're trying to force it to happen somehow, and it's not coming. And so maybe they are projecting a little bit, and that's where that agitation is coming from. I'm not getting really psychologically deep information coming from this, by the way. So it may not be that complicated to get to the real root of the issue. It's just a matter of opening up that channel of communication. That's all. But they're feeling torn. Maybe they're feeling torn in half. Maybe they're feeling like they can't sacrifice one thing that's on their plate. They feel like they have to do all of it. And maybe they're feeling the weight of the responsibility on their shoulders, and they're kind of wanting to run away from it. altogether and just say, screw it, forget it, I'm over it. Because maybe they're not really seeing the rewards from things, you know? They're not seeing the payout, they're not seeing the money, they're not seeing the opportunities come. And they may just be taking it out on you a little bit, even though it doesn't really have a lot to do with you. But I think you know that too, Queen of Wands. There's certainly a maturity coming forward with the Queen. She's not just going to let someone project all over her. She's going to really put up that boundary and set that line and say, look, I get you're upset, but I know for a fact this has nothing to do with me. So stop making it about me, you know. I think the minute you flip the script of like, say, you know what, because it's so transparent, because you know this person, right? Some of you have been married forever. So it's like, it's so transparent. Like, you know exactly how to contend with this. You know how to communicate with this person. You know how to get them to take a deep breath and just sort of pull back and kind of reassess and reanalyze the way they just came at you, and to reanalyze why and what's going on. So it's going to be more about them, I think, and you being of assistance, or whoever is the Queen of Wands, they being of more assistance over here. I am sensing, now this came out with the other couple piles as well, and so I'm like, well, I feel like this is not a good week to try to tell people what to do. With all the Sagittarius energy, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to be told what to do, even if they're making mistakes. They don't want to be told that they're wrong. You can tell someone they're wrong, but it's probably not going to sink in as well as you would like, or as well as you intend, right? It's just not going to sink in. It's not going to like really click until later. If you start trying to tell someone what to do, there will be pushback. And in this case, there may be blowback, because there just seems to be a sensitivity or a hypersensitivity and being easily triggered. Now, if your partner is experiencing growth, because this doesn't necessarily mean that nothing good is happening for them. You know, it's just they also may be facing certain challenges that come with that Wheel of Fortune, because that Wheel of Fortune can be highly disruptive sometimes. It's a great card. We all want it. We all want the good things that come from the Wheel of Fortune, but sometimes when things start going well, we have new responsibilities, we have new people, we have new things that we need to learn. And sometimes that can also be really overwhelming, and they may feel in over their head with something, and that may also be why they're kind of being a little bit short and agitated here. But this is just kind of seems like an inner child screaming for help. And if you can see that, then there is no problem. And this Knight of Swords will subside quite easily. All right, so what's kind of coming in between the two of you here? Nine of Cups in the reversal. I think this really is important to just let things just be. Being a cheerleader right now may not be going so well. And I know that sounds weird. I'm like, it's Sagittarius season. Like, this is Jupiter energy. Everyone loves a cheerleader. But some people don't always handle that love well, because maybe they're not used to it and they struggle with doing it for themselves. If you can't be your own cheerleader, sometimes it's hard to let someone else cheer you on as well. Or if they can't cheer someone else on, it's hard for them to accept someone cheering them on too. So, there just seems to be kind of a little bit of like, don't say anything, don't do anything, don't breathe down my neck, don't cheer me on. It's like a very fickle situation, right? There's just not a lot you can do. There's not a lot of the ways that you can really approach this other than just saying like, I'm here and I can help, and you just tell me what to do and that's it. And just leaving it super open and letting them come to the conclusions, letting them figure it out. Because the minute you start trying to tell them, I'm just kind of getting like a full-on shutdown. They're just not receptive, okay? So just availability. It's all they need to know, that you're available, period. Okay? All right, thank you so much, pile number 3. You guys know I love you. Have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Alrighty, this particular segment is for those of you who are single, or if you do find yourself in a little bit of a hot and cold situation. So as always, we have 3 piles. We're using agate today. So we have a violet agate, magenta, and teal. Timestamps down below. Take a moment, pause the video if you have to, or if not, you can always just randomly select a pile and there will likely be a message in there for you somewhere. All right, so I'll see you in just a sec. All right, pile number 1, you selected violet, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first card represents you, and this is the other person or the external world. So 3 of coins is a really industrious energy. It seems like you're in a really great place to plan and design and put something together. You may be thinking about next year already and just kind of thinking about what it is you want to build with your life. And you may or may not have a person in mind, you may be like so single that you're just like, all right, I'm going to put just kind of like a placeholder here. And if that person happens to show up, then fine. But if not, I'm still going to make this happen nonetheless. You may be really focusing on your work right now and focusing on dealing with clients or, fellow colleagues or employees or people that are in that more professional space. There does seem to be a little bit of a quiet on the other side of the line. So now we'll see what else comes out, but with the 4 of Swords, seems like the external world is taking a little bit of a rest, or there's not a lot of availability. So if you are dealing with someone and they are coming off a little distant right now, 4 of Swords, they're not really available. They're kind of in their own world. And if you're completely single, you may not really have a lot of options out there. And you may be taking a little bit of a break on the trying to date. So if you're on any kind of an app, this may not be the week where you set up any dates, or maybe you don't really even log in that much just because you're like, I'm just maybe not really feeling it. Doesn't really feel like now's the right time, or I'm just not feeling connected to it. What else? What else for pile 1? 9 of Swords, King of Coins. So there does seem to be some degree of stress coming through here. There's worry. Maybe right now you are really focused on your finances, which would make sense. A lot of money energy does come through Sagittarius, even though it's not technically a money sign. But being ruled by Jupiter, we do have abundance on the brain. We're thinking about abundance, and we're thinking about how to get there. We're thinking about how to increase the inflow in a lot of ways so that we can experience greater things in life. With 9 of Swords, it may be, this is bringing in a little bit of emotion. It's bringing in a little bit of tension as well, which may be one of the reasons why you're focused here, because at least here you have some semblance of control, right? When you go into the office every day, what needs to be taken care of. There's not a lot of thought that needs to be put into things. You just simply do it, right? You do the tasks, period. And there's not a lot of anything extra. There's not a lot of extra mental effort. Maybe right now thinking about love and thinking about how you're going to go about getting someone into your life just seems a little overwhelming, and you honestly don't know. So if you're coming up short with answers and you're coming up short with options, this is a good place for you to be, because this puts you in a state of flow. It puts you in a state of ease. Both of these cards are the complete opposite of this 9 of Swords. A lot of desire to control comes through this, when we want to control something, but we know we can't. Control is not an option. You can't make the love of your life come into your life any faster. You can't make that person who is being hot and cold with you behave in the way that you would like in order to make you happy, So I think this is recognizing the lack of control that you have, and also being forced to surrender to it and dedicate a lot of energy to things that at least you can do. But I think you're happy here. I don't think this is a place that you're upset about being. It's like, it's fine. Yeah, we can do this. We can do the Three of Coins stuff. We have the talent, we have the skill, and at least this will give me some sense of an accomplishment. The King of Coins does not want to have to work for love. He doesn't want to have to work to try to get someone to see their inherent value. This is someone who wants to attract someone who already sees their value. You don't want to have to prove yourself to anybody. It's too exhausting. Ace of Wands. Seven of Swords. If you are dealing with a hot and cold situation, this person over here, clearly with the Ace of Wands, like the door is completely open, right? And I think if this person wanted to come to you and say, hey, let's do this, let's fully commit, you would be like, okay, yes, let's do it. Like I'm all in. But the Seven of Swords is preventing them from doing that. And I think they're very aware of this inner battle that's going on. I think they're in this process of making certain choices, but I don't know that they're going to make the right choice, because this is really tempting, because this like self-sabotage energy is really comfortable for some people. This is challenging because it's going to require them to reach and attain deeper levels of intimacy, which means greater degrees of vulnerability, which means less control. For those of you who are completely single, there are things brewing. That Ace of Wands tells me there's a lot of potential here for you, but there's still a little bit of a mess going on right now. Maybe when... Now, Venus is going to slowly be making her way into an opposition with Mars. Once Venus separates off of that opposition next week, I think this will open up a little bit. It's just kind of a little bit of a weird week because Mars is involved. Mars is opposing Mercury. Mars is opposing Venus. We're building to that full moon on December 7th, which is going to be conjunct Mars. So Mars in love energy, I know we use Mars in modern astrology for love prediction, but he's not really doing a lot of favors. He's not completely hurting, but he's also not doing a lot of favors. So he's just sort of putting roadblocks and creating obstacles and whatnot. So this energy will shift sooner than you realize, sooner than you think. So it's not permanent, But right now, again, it's just a little bit strange out there. A lot of potential, a lot of opportunity. But whether or not it fully manifests is a completely different story. So even the Seven of Wands, there's a lot of like antagonistic energy. It's like, and you may have, like, if you're totally single and you're looking out at the possibility of dating, you may just be kind of doing a whole rundown of all the excuses as to why to not do that. Why to not put myself out there, why to not get on the app today, why to not try to set up a date, why, it's just like one thing after the next, there's just pushback. Doesn't feel right for you right now. Maybe because this is going well, you would really rather dedicate time and energy to this. And that's okay. Again, it's just temporary. If you just need to take this week, make up for the holiday weekend or whatever, that's fine. I don't think this is going to last that much longer. So, and even if you are dealing with a hot and cold person, the coming together does seem to be a little bit rough this week. It's not like there's going to be an easy flow or an easy fluidity. The energetic dynamic between the two of you may just feel really off. And if you are a more intuitive or empathic person, you're going to pick up on it like that, which is probably why this, you're going to pick up on it super fast. Just don't internalize it. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that, pile one. Try to enjoy the week. This is where the winning energy is, focusing on building your life, focusing on productive activities, and hopefully within the next week and a half, it will start to change. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Pile 1. I love you. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 2, you selected the magenta. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what comes through. So over here is you, here's the external world. Now, there does seem to be some choice or some crossroads that you're at. I feel like this Ace of Cups presents you or puts you in a little bit of a conundrum. Like, this is so great, and in a singles reading, this is, or in even someone who's dealing with someone who's hot and cold, I think this is everything you ever want, right? This is someone who's willing to give you their heart and willing to put it out there and willing to commit, whatever the case is. But why is this response so crossed off? Doesn't feel right for some reason. This is so beautiful and it is great. And for those of you who are single, there is a lot of potential out there in the world. I wonder how available you are. I feel like last week, the singles reading, it was so open and ready and available. And I think this week, as we have Mars getting introduced to with Mercury opposing, and eventually Venus will oppose as well. I think because Mars is there playing his little games, he's just presenting a little bit of resistance or struggle. He's putting a few more obstacles in the way. There is an element of standards that Mars holds. And because Venus is coming into an opposition, there is added tension on those standards, right? When Mars and Venus are pulled apart like that, I mean, that's kind of their natural situation, by the way, right? We have Aries versus Libra, right? Mars and Venus, and Taurus versus Scorpio. So by their nature, they are opposite. And that's why I think for the perfect balance, we need that tension. But because we're going for that perfect balance, our standards are just super high. Well, there we go. I mean, that says it all right there. Well, yeah, I mean, double whammy of that. A lot of major arcana coming out. So it's like you want, I'm looking at the sun here. There's warmth, there's light, there's brilliance, illumination, there's structure, commitment, a lot of passion and creativity that comes through here. But over here, there's like isolation, being alone. There's kind of like a barrenness here. There's secrecy. There's like, this is not, maybe that's the reason why, like, you're picking up on it. It's like, there's something weird about this. If you're in a hot and cold situation, I honestly would be really skeptical if your person came out and said, okay, I'm sorry. Like, please, let's commit. Let's take it to the next level. I'm not saying you don't say yes to it, but there's just some weirdness that's like pushing that Ace of Cups forward. It's like if you were to meet someone out there, it's because that person put them out there because they're so desperately lonely. And you don't want to meet people who are so desperately lonely, because then it turns into some weird codependent, unhealthy attachment kind of deal. And I just don't think you have the capacity to deal with that. You know, or you're going to come into contact with someone who's afraid of being alone, or they've just recently experienced some loss and they're trying to fill the void. I don't mean to be so pessimistic about it. It's just that trust your gut with this. Just because someone asks for your phone number, just because you go out on a date and you have a good connection, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be able to live up to what you fully and wholeheartedly deserve. This is an opportunity for you to feel your way through this and to use your intuition, right? We've got the moon over here. To use your intuition, also all the water, and kind of that connection to the all-knowingness, if you will, through that Hierophant. Use that intuition to say, okay, do I really feel that this Ace of Cups, that this offer or this potential is going to be what I've been asking for, you know? And to be honest with yourself, and don't be afraid to walk away if it doesn't seem like it's going to fit. King of Swords. Yeah, there definitely has to be a strength. There has to be a boundary. And there has to be a standard of, if this is not going to be like a full crop, I'm not even going to start to plant the seeds. You know, like, what's the point of planting seeds in a climate, you know, where you know it's not going to thrive? You know, like, does it make sense to plant a lemon tree in a field in northern Canada? You know, like, it doesn't necessarily make sense. So you want to make sure that you're planting the right crops in this environment here, because I don't know that that's what's really going on here. So just be alert. That's the best advice that I can give. Just be alert. And if you are dealing with a situation, and again, like, why now all of a sudden? And as much as I would love to tell you to just accept the love, I don't like what's backing it, and I don't know that it's going to be sustainable. That's my fear, is that it's not sustainable. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, pile number 2. I hope you have a good weekend. I do love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 3, you selected the teal agate. So the first card is you. This is what's going on out there. Okay. I actually don't mind this combination at all, because it tells me that a lot of that inner work that you've been doing is actually going to start paying off, you know, and all of that, those habits and those patterns that you've been in terms of your dating life, it is starting to really evolve, and chances that you are going to start attracting someone that you are truly compatible with, that you can build a long-standing relationship with. You're likely changing into that person, you know, who's going to choose the right person, who's going to have like a high quality vetting process, right? You're going to be able to listen to your intuition and pay attention to those red flags that are so common at the very beginning of relationships. And you're not going to ignore them this time, and you're not going to excuse them just because maybe you feel a chemistry. You know, I don't think that there is any weakness coming through here at all. And the environment is starting to say, like, okay, yeah, like, there's like, something is brewing, something is culminating, something is building, and it's going to be something that you're going to be really, really happy about. Now, if you are dealing with somebody, well, actually, before I get into that, let me just pull out the rest of the cards. And then 2 more for the environment over here. Okay, yeah, this is what I had a feeling. Let's see, exactly. All right. So this confirms what I was about to say, because I was like, if you are in a hot and cold situation with somebody right now, this was the same as pile 2. I'm sorry. It's just like, maybe this is a message that single people need to hear right now. If they come to you and make certain promises, I would be really skeptical of that right now. If you're in a hot and cold, and maybe you've gone through a few rounds of that on and off and on and off again, and it hasn't really fully landed. If they come back, or if you want to reach back out to them, whichever the case is, something's really off. There's not real availability there. Okay? Now, for those of you who are single, I don't know that this is going to be the week that you go out and meet the one. Now, obviously, if you do meet someone great, by all means, embrace it, allow yourself to flow with it, but just make sure, right, that you are discerning and you can pay attention to the chemistry of your body. Is there an attraction? Are you, intellectually stimulated by this person? Does the conversation flow well? Like, all of those things are great things. I'm not telling you to ignore. But to kind of be in that position where you can observe yourself. I'm looking at this Page of Cups as kind of a 1 foot in, 1 foot out, while you are engaging with new people, talking to new people. You can also be way up here looking down on yourself and being like, all right, let's do this the right way this time. If this person is someone that there's a future with or potential with, I'll know. And if they're not, I will also know. And I'm going to believe myself either way. I'm not going to push anyone away that may be good for me. And I'm not going to pull someone in who's not good for me. I want to do it right this time. I want to pull in the person who's right for me or good for me. Okay? I'm just seeing a lot of fluff over here. Like people who, let's say you're on a dating profile, okay, or you're online or something, or maybe you meet someone in, the grocery store or something, and you get to talking, and this is someone, okay, well, what do you want in a relationship? And they list all the things, they want the marriage and the house, and they want the big career, and they want all the things, all the normal stuff. And then there's this like nagging in your head, like, well, why haven't they gotten that already? It's not that you're judging them. Maybe you haven't found it either. It's not a commentary on their character or who they are as a person. But you may start to notice that as much as they say all of that, they, just like a lot of us, we're all guilty of it to some degree, are pushing against the very things that they say that they want. They say they want marriage, but maybe they are terrified of deep intimacy or truly being seen because they were never truly seen as a child, right? Or they experienced some trauma or some kind of a wound in that case. So they never really allowed anyone in that way. And maybe they have some kind of a notion that they're operating from, that when they meet that perfect person, then they will want to. I think you can tell. And that's what I mean. Like there's a little bit of fluff out there right now. So that's why you have to be so discerning. It doesn't mean you have to be pessimistic. And again, it's not judgment. It's just like collecting information and using your intuition to say, like, what is this person really saying? Being able to read between the lines. It's amazing how transparent we all are. Once you really know yourself, and I'm not saying we ever fully do, but when you go through that process of healing and all that, it's like you know everybody. And you see yourself in everybody, and you see all your own stuff in them. And I'm not saying we're all equal in terms of the life experience that we've had, but to some degree we are. I think you'll be able to see right through all the fluff because you're smarter than that now. Like the death is incredibly insightful. This card, really insightful. So I just don't know that anyone can fool you. No one can pull the wool over your eyes. No one can kind of get away with something, especially not in a situationship. There's too much evidence for you to just be all accepting. Like you can't just take this, but ignore the fact that they're not really gonna, like they may take your heart, but they may not really give you theirs. They're going to stay protective. They're going to stay walled off. They're going to stay blocked. And they may just want some kind of a temporary fix. Okay, so you have to stay super alert right now. Okay? The Hermit. This is the wisdom, for sure. This is that kind of elevated, wise. It's interesting that I felt that with the Page of Cups, that the 1 foot in, 1 foot out, the hesitation is really meaningful for you right now. All right, because it's giving your higher self or your witness self that opportunity to really, really see what's going on here. It's like you get to remove yourself from your body so you're not distracted by the emotions and the chemistry and the hope and all of that. you're not distracted by that, and you can make really high quality decisions for yourself because you're over with that. Like, you're done with all of that. You've done it before too many times, and there is this determination within you to never do it again. The next person you pick, the next person you're with, you're like, that, I want that to be the one that I spend my life with. I want that one to be the one that I fully commit. I don't want to waste my time trying to get someone to be that person. I just want them to just be that person. Okay? All right, pile number 3. I love you guys. Have a great weekend, okay? And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.